I don't know about you, but when I see someone eating fajitas with a knife and fork, I often think to myself, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And the passage we're reflecting on today is that very, very line that Jesus says on the cross, where he says, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Scholars have discussed and reflected who they might be. Who is Jesus referencing here when he says this statement? Some say it's directed to the Romans who were crucifying him. Some say it was aimed at the Romans and the Jewish leaders who had put this mock trial together and asked Rome to execute him. It's also suggested that it's wider than that, that when Jesus says, Father, forgive them, it relates to all of humanity. It relates to us when we get it wrong, when we turn away from God, consciously or unconsciously. Jesus is speaking out what he's already doing on the cross, offering himself as a sacrifice for the forgiveness of sins and all of humanity. He declares and pleads to the Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. The Apostle Paul in Romans 5:8 helps us to understand it when he writes, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Forgiveness is a choice. It's often, very rarely, a feeling. And I'm sure that in this moment, Jesus, as he's being crucified, he isn't feeling like he should forgive, but he chooses to cry out and ask the Father to forgive them. I've had people in my life who have wronged me, and I've never had an overwhelming sense or a feeling that I should forgive them. It's just not the thing. When someone has wronged you, when someone has hurt you, you just want justice, or you want revenge, or you want something bad for that person. But what I've learned, and what I'm still learning each day, is that forgiveness is a choice. It's a choice to say, I will forgive you, not because I feel like it, but because I have already been forgiven by the Father. Nor will I let my life be caught up with anger or bitterness or hurt towards others. Bizarrely enough, sometimes I have to choose to forgive again and again on a daily basis. As my brain tries to remind me of the hurt and what people have done wrong to me, I have to remember daily to forgive others. And because mainly we come from this place that we have already been forgiven from the Father. I'll finish with this, and it's Paul, and he's writing to the church in Ephesus, and he says this in Ephesians 4. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ, God, forgave you. May you know this Easter that God is a God who forgives you, who is a Father who is forgiving you, and that from that place we should forgive others.